Hi, I'm Sarah Johanek. I am a rising senior at Rutgers University, and I just got back from World Championships in Poland. And I was in the women's cox 4, and we won gold, which was super exciting. Well, so going into my junior year, I knew that was like my junior year of high school. I knew that was like one of the most important years, to get recruited. Those are like where you have your times that you submit to college coaches, your videos of your rowing. So starting like that year, I began to do extra workouts and was acknowledging the fact that it is going to be a huge transition. And I think Rob Zdankowicz, the head coach of St. Joseph Academy, did a really great job giving me extra workouts going into my freshman year of college, and made sure that I was really prepared. But I think the biggest transition is just it's double the amount of time that you put in high school. In high school you have 6 practices a week, and in college you have 2 practices a day, and sometimes even more workouts depending on the season. So it's just a huge time commitment. But I mean, it's a whole nother level of intensity as well. You're not just competing for fun, as I was my freshman year of high school when I didn't really know what I was doing. It's everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone's really intense about it, which is a super exciting environment to be around. I would tell anyone who starts rowing and is slightly interested in it to just stick with it. You'll make amazing friends. It teaches you so many lessons, even in high school. It teaches you discipline, hard work, time management. So rowing has just been an amazing part of my life. So I encourage everyone to give it a shot.
So how well did you know the Cuyahoga River before you started rowing on it?
I knew it caught on fire a few times. I didn't really know it that well. I mean, growing up in Cleveland, I have been out on boats and stuff with my family, but I never even saw rowing down here, which is so awesome now because rowing is so huge in Cleveland. You can't come to Cleveland and go on the river and not know what rowing is,
So what do you think about sharing the river with those massive freighters?
Well, that was a big surprise to me when I went to Rutgers. I was like, wait, every river does not have huge freighters on it. You don't have to pull over every 30 minutes. It's exciting. It's something very unique to Cleveland. I rode on a lot of rivers, and not many have I ever seen that big of freighters that you think are going to crash or not make the turn, but they always do. So yeah, it's unique to Cleveland. It's not ideal for training, when you're doing pieces and you have to pull over, but it makes Cleveland a little special, something interesting. I think the biggest thing is just being motivated by your teammates, because you may be having a bad day, you may have just pulled your worst 2K ever, but your buddy next to you, just PR. So seeing people excel when you're not doing well is extremely motivating to me, because you always, everyone wants to do well. Everyone wants a PR on every piece. So I think just having those teammates that, motivate you when you're down and you motivate them when they're down. And also coaches, Justin, so this was Justin's first year at Rutgers, and he has completely transformed our team. And we had our best season yet, and it's mostly the same girls. So it's not, that we, recruited all these crazy internationals, but I think that he just really transformed the mentality of the team. Everyone just had a much more unified mentality towards one goal. Everyone was completely invested. So just having that unified mentality with your teammates and with your coaches, I think really helps. It just keeps you motivated when you miss a PR by a second, or you have a rough practice on the water. At the beginning of the year, I was really unsure about it. I knew my times needed to improve by a lot if I even wanted to apply to the national team. But Justin was super encouraging, along the whole process. He was very encouraging and really helped me get to exactly where I needed to be. So he encouraged me to apply, and then once I applied and got accepted, he was extremely helpful in the whole selection process. So the first month of camp is just a lot of seat racing. You're switching with girls, trying to see who makes the boat go fastest, which is really stressful when you're seat racing a lot. So you know, he was really, really good with, you know, talking me through all the seat races, you know, keeping my morale high after like a rough erg. So yeah, so I think, you know, he was definitely a huge part in it, but also just, you know, like I said before, like having teammates that are so motivational and like want you to like go to the next level was really, really awesome. And I like can guarantee that there'll be more Rutgers people, you know, applying to camp next year, and it's just really awesome to see, you know, everyone take it to the next level.
What do you crave after a hard workout food-wise?
Chocolate milk. I drink like a gallon of chocolate milk like every 3 days. Like, it's disgusting. It's really gross. It's really unhealthy, but I love it. Definitely ice cream. So when I like the past few summers, I've worked. This is not an ad. I'm not sponsored, but I do have worked at Mason's Creamery in Cleveland, and I love ice cream. I'm an ice cream fanatic. Any kind of ice cream is my go-to.
And so what are the 3 songs playing on your iPod during a hard erg piece?
Oh, all Eminem. Just, you know, Spotify Eminem. I just listen to straight Eminem. Lose Yourself is #1. I love Eminem. All my teammates know that. Yeah, I've been lucky enough not to have any injuries. But I think like one of the things that we do a lot like at Rutgers is, you know, after a hard workout, like everyone goes to see Ryan, our trainer, you know. So even if you're not like injured, they encourage you to do a lot of like recovery stuff, you know. So getting stim, getting heat on your back, rolling out is a huge one. So like just, you know, a lot of like preventative stuff. Also just like rowing is such a big, you know, thing on your core and your back. So like doing a lot of like abs and, you know, core strengthening stuff so that you don't have those like common rowing
What sort of cross training do you do?
I love running. I almost quit. This is a little side note. I almost quit crew in high school to run cross country. Really glad I didn't. But I love running. You know, in high school I ran a few half marathons, and eventually when I'm retired I want to run some full marathons. We did a good amount of running on the national team, and some biking too. I like spin classes. I really did not know anything about Rutgers when I was a senior in high school. The Rutgers head coach came to Cleveland and was looking at a few different athletes, and I just like happened to go to like one of the practices where he was, and I started talking to him, and then I like came out for a official visit and just absolutely loved the school. You know, I loved the girls on the team. I think that was the biggest selling point for me, having girls that are like so motivated and so like just similar to my mindset. And I loved, you know, the big school. I knew I wanted a big school. I had no idea what I wanted to do in college. So yeah, so that is like really what sold me to Rutgers. And now that we have, you know, Justin, and we have such an amazing coaching staff right now, and we had an incredible season compared to 2 years ago. So, you know, Rutgers is just getting faster. Like I don't think anyone's really expecting, you know, us to do anything crazy this year, but we are. You know, we're super hyped for this year, and we're excited to see what we can do. Mm-hmm. So after my sophomore year, you know, we did not have a great season, and I like wasn't thrilled with the rowing program at Rutgers. So when we found out we had a new coach, you know, most people were like pretty excited to see what he can do. But, you know, you're always skeptical. You have no idea. Like, we didn't know anything about him, you know. So we really had no idea what to expect. But, you know, I think I'm speaking for most of the girls on my team. Like, Justin has been an amazing addition to our team. And, you know, he's really, really transformed, you know, like I said before, the mentality of the team, which I think is really at the core of what makes a fast team. So, you know, obviously, like, we were all nervous going into it. You know, we had no idea what to expect, but we couldn't have gotten luckier, you know.
So talk about your experience in Poland. All right, get your passport. Like, this is real. I'm going to head to a foreign country and represent my country. Talk about that.
Yeah, you know, it was crazy. I think it like first, you know, began to hit me when we went to Henley, because, you know, at Henley, like, there's all different clubs and teams and other national teams that are under other clubs. But it hit me when like someone, you know, that I met at the hotel was like, you know, what club are you for? And I was like, no, I'm like racing for the USA, like the country. So that was I was like, you know, kind of in shock by that. But then when we were in, like, Poland was just an incredible experience. So the first week we were there like a week before racing began, and you know, we were kind of on lockdown. You know, you have 2 practices a day, but in between that you're really just encouraged to stay off your feet, you know, rest, hydrate, eat. But once we, you know, began racing, like, so this was the first year that they ever had the Cox 4 event at World, so we really had no idea what to expect. We had no idea, you know, which countries we were supposed to be on lookout for, what the, you know, gold medal standard is. So, you know, all summer while we were training, we were just, you know, let's just go as hard as we can. You know, we didn't have any like set numbers that we're supposed to be hitting. So once we had our first race, we were all pretty psyched. You know, it was just an incredible experience. You know, you're on the water and you hear no one else in my race speaks English. You know, like that's not their first language. So it was like really exciting to hear like all these other coxswains screaming calls in like different languages. Like that was just, you know, insane, and I don't think anything could have really prepared you for that. But yeah, I mean the race was just like so much fun. It was really exciting, and I just really loved the girls in my boat. Like everyone was so willing to work, everyone was willing to make changes. You know, we come from 5 different programs, we have 5 different strokes, so we had like a month to, you know, figure out one that works for everyone. So yeah, I think that it was just an amazing experience. And then, you know, after we won the race, like everyone, it just didn't feel real. You know, you row right up to the podium, and you know, instantly they give you your medal and the national anthem's going. Like everyone was in tears. But it was an incredible experience, and I like still don't really believe that was me. Rowing is just like, in high school at least, it's an extremely expensive sport. You know, so initially when I like told my mom I wanted to row, she was like, "Are you sure? Like, what about cross country? You know, that's much more financially, like that makes more sense." But I, you know, really wanted to do it, and she made it work, which like I can never thank her enough for. And both my parents were like extremely supportive coming out to those races that are, you know, in the spring when the rain is almost freezing and there's mud, you know, up to your knees. So yeah, I mean, my parents were extremely supportive. I have an older brother and a younger sister, and they both came to, you know, their fair share of races throughout my high school career. So, I mean, there's just no way I would have even, you know, been able to row if it wasn't for how supportive my parents are. And, you know, my mom is literally my biggest fan. Like, I tell everyone this at Poland. So my mom and my sister came to Poland, and in the stands there's, you know, New Zealand, GB, Australia, there's all the teams, but like after our race, like the loudest person was my mom. Like everyone in my boat was like, "That's Sarah's mom." Like her and my sister were both there, and they were just like, you know, they're my biggest fans, and they're just so supportive, and it just, you know, made it so much more special that they got to be there as well.
Most people think rowers tall and what have you. You know, you're a solid height, but you certainly wouldn't be called tall.
Yeah.
So talk to somebody who's like thinking in terms of, well, you know, I'm not 5'10", you know,
Yeah.
180.
Yeah.
But clearly you've been able to do something well with your talent.
Yeah. Well, in high school, I actually rowed lightweight. So up until my junior year, you know, I was a very small rower. But yeah, in college I had a coach that said, you know, you're a little bit too small to try out for the national team. Like they're looking for like, you know, the huge girls. And while I am, you know, pretty strong, I definitely was one of the smaller girls at camp. You know, they're just, you know, a lot taller and a lot, you know, bigger. But you know, if you can, you know, row a boat and make it go faster than a girl who's 6 foot and 180 pounds, like that's all that matters. You know, it doesn't matter. They're at a more advantage, but if you work harder and you can, you know, pull faster tons and you know, win your sea races, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to make a boat.
gold medal, U23 World Champion. What have you done for me lately? Now, what's next? What's the goal?
So, you know, I have one more year at Rutgers, so I'm excited for a fast season. I'm excited to see how fast we can go. And then after that, I have another year of U23 eligibility, so I can, you know, apply to the national team again and hopefully make a bow and race at Worlds. But then after that, so I want to get my master's, but I've been looking at continuing rowing at Cambridge University. So I'm hoping to get in there. The coach that was coaching my bow at Worlds is now the head coach there, which is really nice because I can talk to him a lot about, you know, application and the team and the whole culture there. So that's my goal, but we'll see. You know, stuff changes all the time, so who knows?